going to go right to some breaking news. To start the show out of New York, Brian Daboll has been fired. Adam Schefter, we go right to you. What do we need to know?
Laura, the New York Giants made the decision today to move on from Brian Daboll and to name Mike Kafka as their interim head coach. They did say that general manager Joe Schoen will stay on and lead the new search for a head coach looking to replace Brian Daboll. This is a year in which the Giants lost 4 games on the road that they led by double-digit points. Their quarterback has been evaluated for concussions at 4 different points in the season. There was the incident on Thursday Night Football where Brian Daboll poked his head in and around the blue medical tent to try to find out an update on Jackson Dart, who had been dinged up again. And now the team has made the decision to move on from its head coach. He becomes the second head coach fired this year, joining Brian Callahan, and the New York Giants will have a very attractive head coach job to offer to somebody who will want to inherit Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterbo, and a lot of talent on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that point up, Adam. We'll continue to talk about this news all show long, and more from Adam is coming your way with more news we want to tell you about. But let's zero in on the Giants. They were 9-7-1 in Brian Daboll's first season in 2022 and made the playoffs. However, over the last 3 seasons, they're 11-33, which is the second worst record in the NFL. Last year, New York lost 14 games, the most in a season in franchise history. And as Adam said, it's an attractive roster. We'll talk about maybe who should be the hire that they would look for as we welcome you here to the show. But first, we'll start about why this went wrong. Marcus Spears, Mina Kimes, Ryan Clark, Dan Orlovsky. This is football weather, you guys.
This is heaven. You said it feel right. It feels so wrong.
I think it feels great.
This is heaven.
You're not wearing gloves, man.
It's a mentality. He's got his hot hands going. We'll see how long that lasts.
I tell everybody, if you're a sports fan, you have to come here at this time of year.
Yeah,
It's
really special.
You can come another time of year. It's still great. September is pretty great here, too. I'm just saying.
I thought it was awesome during draft.
We were here for the draft.
Night game in November is the best here.
All right, either way, it's special to be here, and we'll talk a lot more about this massive game on Monday Night Football. But first, let's start with that news.
I can't get over your outfit, bro.
About Brian
I feel
Daboll.
great.
RC, is this the right move? Does it make sense right now?
I think it makes sense. You look at what's been going on throughout the season, and it's not just about the X's and O's. It's about a team that has lost leads in the fourth quarter. It's about a quarterback who I feel has been put at risk far too many times for someone as young and talented as Jackson Dart is. And it's about a team that doesn't seem to be going in the right direction. Now, I am confused at Joe Schoen being able to keep his job and saying he's going to lead the next search for the head coach. When you look at the decision to keep Daniel Jones and put him on contract, not keep Saquon Barkley and give him a new opportunity to be there under contract. I think some of those things make it seem difficult to me to understand that part of the decision making.
Yeah, I'm of the belief this is a mistake by the New York Giants. It was clear that the quarterback and head coach had something going together, at least this production, performance, and hope. The fourth quarter leads are obviously something that you're sitting there and killing yourself over. This team lost its best player, and then they lost probably their second or third best, certainly offensive weapon in Scatterbo. The fact that they had built these leads should warrant something. And the reality is this defense that's got a gajillion dollars or early draft picks had 10-point fourth quarter leads 4 different times this year, and they couldn't find ways to secure the lead either. And so as much as we want to sit there and say Daboll didn't get it done, a lot of the high-priced defensive talent didn't get it done as well. I think that Brian Daboll and Jackson Dart should have stayed together for at least another year.
To your point about the defense, I do think that reflects on the GM. On the back end, you see some draft picks that were mistakes, some free agent signings, and the offensive line has been an issue with this team now for several years, right? That's not on Daboll. That's on Joe Schoen. As far as Daboll goes, I hear you on one hand. I do feel like they had a good thing going. Sorry, I feel ridiculous, by the way, trying to figure out something serious while wearing Mickey Mouse clothes. So I'm just going to put them down for a second. But I also really have not loved the way he's exposed the quarterback to risk. I mean, since Jackson Dart became a starter, he leads all quarterbacks in carries. He's second only behind Justin Herbert in the amount of times he's been contacted. Some of that is Jackson Dart's decision-making, right?
Sure.
To break the pocket and scramble. But as the head coach, when you have a quarterback with those instincts as an athlete, you have to coach it.
But we're not
him.
We're not firing because of that. We're not really kind of getting rid of Brian Daboll because of that.
It felt like because of that, the incentives of Daboll in terms of keeping his job and he had to win were almost misaligned with what was best for the quarterback. I do believe that's true. That's not necessarily on him, but it's how it played out.
I think y'all alluded to it. The central focus of this should be Joe Shane, right? The investments that's been made on this football team obviously have not panned out offensively outside of Malik. You think about all of the draft picks that they have, to your point, on defense, where you do go into fourth quarter leads, and you're supposed to take onus of that and give yourself opportunities to win those games. I watched Jackson Dart in Denver go take the lead late in the football game. So, look, here's the problem with the Giants now. This is 6 coaches in, 9 years or something like that?
Not far.
And how in the world are you going to create continuity between the best teams in the NFL? General manager and head coach are in lock and step
Always
with each
together.
other.
Yeah.
It's now you're in another cycle where Joe Shane is going to have to deal with a new guy.
But also the next step is, okay, well, is the coach that you hire next, is it going to be for Jackson Dart? Is it going to be for the football team? Is it going to be the Coughlin model?
Feels like it has to be for Jackson Dart, but yeah, we will talk about that a little bit more. I just wanted to tell you guys this. Jackson Dart's been contacted while throwing and or rushing 84 times since he made his first start in week 4, second most in the NFL. Justin Herbert's actually the most. On the Giants side, it was another blown lead, okay? Although limited time together, it did appear that Jackson Dart was the best quarterback Brian Daboll had as a Giants head coach. Dart posted a 63 total QBR with Daboll, while all other Giants quarterbacks who had 5 starts with Big Blue combined for a 47 QBR under Daboll. Dan, as the Giants start to look forward now, who should they be looking out for as a new head coach? What qualities should this person have?
Well, the number one name that I would pay attention to if I were the Giants is what happens in Cleveland with Kevin Stefanski. If I could handpick a guy, it would be Stefanski. He's an outstanding coach, 2-time coach of the year. I understand people in Cleveland are like, this guy can't coach. There's a lot of empirical data we would say otherwise. This is a difficult spot for the Giants. I really believe that, because there's no question you need to get a guy that's going to bring the best out of Jackson Dart, obviously. But it's also when the Giants have been at their best, it's been under like a coach like a Parcells or a Tom Coughlin, a defensive-minded, hard-nosed, disciplinarian, tough. It fits the culture. It's not just offensive-centric. So it's trying to find the balance. I would go Kevin Stefanski. I would go Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator of the Chargers. I would entertain John Gruden and maybe Matt Nagy, but Kansas City. But I would pay attention to see what's going on in Cleveland.
Yeah, I think for New York, it's funny because we were just talking in the break about how good New England has been and how everything they did this offseason seems to have worked out. And when I look at them, I just feel there was such an emphasis on complementary football. I mean, we're talking about, everyone talks about Drake May in the offense, but the defense has made significant improvements as well. And when I look at this Giants team, the defense has kind of been the bigger problem this season, and some of that has to do with the personnel. But I say that to bring out this. If they were to go out and hire an offensive mind, which I don't think would be necessarily wrong, they need to bring in an experienced defensive coach with them. The way we've seen, like, obviously, Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota being a recent example. Or if they were good to go with a more experienced veteran coach, similar to, like, if there was a Vrabel type available, then it's like, okay, well, we can fix the offensive side of the ball with the right offensive hire. But this can't just be about the offense. This can't just be about whoever the hottest play caller is at the moment. They need to take a holistic approach to fixing this football team, because you can't send Jackson Dart out there and then still be giving up 30 points a game.
Hey, y'all, where Brian Flores from?
Hey,
He's from
Jersey.
100% entertainment.
New York.
Interesting.
Like there needs to be a demeanor change on this football team. Defensively, you got a lot of guys up front that can really get after it. I think he would be.
The Tua stuff doesn't scare you?
Not at all. Not at all. I think Brian Flores, I'm going to make this statement on NFL Live. I think Brian Flores thought Tua was soft. I don't think their personalities aligned enough as a quarterback. I don't think he'd think that about Jackson Dart.
Can I add one thing also? I've heard Brian Flores talk about how he handled that, and the way he speaks about how he learned from that as a coach has really
He
impressed
seems
me
like a
personally.
changed
So
man.
But there's also a demeanor about him that I think would fit with the New York Giants.
I kind of like that.
Well, okay, we also have to remember, though, the sort of debacle between Brian Flores and the New York Giants. Bill Belichick text messages, hiring cycle of Brian Daboll. So that's something we also have to work through. So whether this
it was a good idea.
So whether this makes sense or not, try to make it make sense. They need to find someone that won't dim the light of Jackson Dart, but will hold the rest of the team, including him, accountable. right? Jackson Dart has a certain flavor, a certain personality that is really good for his style of play. It adds a confidence not only to the way he plays the game, but the way people move around him. But you have to make him be smarter. You have to make him understand that every time he has the football in his hands, whether it's taking a hit or a decision, the entire organization is in his hands. But the other people on the other side, the defense, right? Also the special teams, the coaches on the staff, they have to be held accountable to a level of excellence that is the standard of what we came to know of the New York Giants under Parcells, under Tom Coughlin. And that's a difficult place to go. That's a difficult thing to find. And I want this guy to go to LSU. But I'd call Lane Kiffin. And I'd ask Lane Kiffin, do you want to come here? And not I've talked to him. Lane Kiffin could live in New York. Lane Kiffin could deal with New York. Lane Kiffin would understand I have to go get an assistant head coach and a defensive mind that can understand how to make a locker room galvanize itself around excellence, around accountability, and around doing the right thing. He would be a perfect fit.
We always get like
He knows Jackson Dart
great
very
coach,
well.
but then I feel like the hire is only because of the quarterback.
Because the quarterback.
And I am past that in the NFL.
After watching also Chip Kelly in Vegas, Ryan Grubb in Seattle, I'm apprehensive of college coaches and bad offensive lines. I just am now.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's interesting. I mean, listen, there's going to be a lot of people that are interested in that job because it is a
But I like
really
that Flores
good job.
suggestion.
Somewhere.
Maybe there's a way to move past it. I mean, the reality is it's still the same GM as Joe Shane for now is remaining there.